You know, we're still in playoff contention, but need to win at the start.
Trying to get cheeky with it. Nature swings over the strike, but Demon 1 sticking. It's cleared out the position, 7 bullets, 3 left. Nature, no way!
Eu acredito que o nosso primeiro jogo contra a EG vai ser bem difícil, principalmente porque vai ser estreia, eles não jogam faz muito tempo, a gente não joga faz muito tempo, vai vir esse novo meta, a gente não tem ideia do que eles vão jogar, porque eles também não sabem o que a gente vai jogar.
Trying to prep for Loud right now, it's a bit of a head scratcher.
You know, some people have said like, oh, is Tui's duelist, is this person duelist? We don't really know.
And with all these new duelist changes, so I don't know what to think at this point.
Sadok has got like 120 games on Neon this act.
He better play Neon. I'm convinced that he's gonna play Neon. A part of me thinks that he's been watching this duelist all split one, and he's just like, you know what, let me do it myself.
The rest of his team, but they've lost it. Track of their round somehow. I mean, Sadaki's just slipped his way into the back line today. It's working so damn well.
Todo mundo quer saber quem é o duelista da Loud, dia 23 contra a Virginians.
Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Americas and our second match on this very hot Sunday, by the way. It's like 90-something degrees outside.
That's our second block party.
It's the second block party there. Of course, you're joined here once again with the Golden Boy alongside with Myrna. You also have Wyatt. And, of course, we have SIVA Open champion of 2009, Bala, here today.
God. I didn't know he was like that. I didn't know he was nice like that.
Expert analysis.
You want any signatures? What's up? Like,
yeah, he won a 4-team tournament. It was incredible.
Come on, man. Stepped all over it.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead, though, and talk about what we're going to see. We saw a little bit in that interview there with Potter a bit. There's some question marks here. We don't know what's going on with Loud. But what we do know is that Pankata's back, baby. He's back in the lineup, and I'm excited to see this guy rejoin the Loud organization. He won a world championship with them back in, 2022? Feels like 18 years ago. But, yeah, it's great to see Pankata back on this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, this is where he made his name, right? This is the first real organized team that he played on, and they went crazy. They lifted that Champions trophy. And then the dark time. I mean, it was dark for Pankata last year. Obviously, there were some bright moments, but yeah, I mean, it was
It just didn't work out, you know?
Most of the bright moments came from those cool clips when it was him and Saucy alone in a 2v4. And then they would start calling in Portuguese and kill everyone. So, yeah, it's time for him to just get back to a Brazilian team. And I'm happy to see him back with Loud, 3 of the 5 original players from one of the best teams that we've ever had in this game.
Yeah, it's extremely exciting, and there's a lot of other exciting things as well with this Loud team because Athena, who's the duelist? Is it Sadok? Sadok is out here claiming that he's going to be playing duelist for this lineup. We know him traditionally as the IGL, but he says that he is Loud's new duelist, and I'm laughing because it's like, what the hell?
I mean, literally at this point, no one can tell if he's trolling or telling the truth. And I feel like that's kind of like the secret weapon that they have in their back pocket, where Sadaki can just go crazy. He has the fragging potential. He can just IGL and be like, yo, guys, I'm running it down this round. Let's go. Everyone follow me. We got this. I have no clue what to expect. But if he actually is on the duelist, kind of like what Potter said in the interview, too, with that Neon, I am so excited.
Listen. I have a theory. They would not be as openly advertising him playing duelist and talking about it this much if there wasn't some kind of bait and switch. There was an article, I can't remember who was interviewed, but they were saying that it was EG and Loud that were doing they were running the craziest comps in the scrims.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think he's going to be the only duelist. I think that this is all a bait for something. Like, yes, he will play ISO or Neon, but there's going to be another duelist. I mean, there's going to be something else going on.
Last year,
I think it's a bait. That's my theory.
Last year, the split comp was Jet Rays. He was playing the Rays when they were messing around with some of the duelist stuff. He was playing the duelist sometimes. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay, he's just saying.
Might be onto something.
That's my theory.
He's just saying. Well, let's go ahead and hear from the man himself. We got Sadok standing by with Smix.
Sadok, it's great to see you as always. You made a big announcement with a role change. You are now going to be the duelist for Loud. What was the biggest reason for this change, and what have you been doing to prepare for this role change?
Biggest reason I think is Pankata coming into our team. We had to move some pieces around. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling super confident. I think we can make it to champs. Yeah, I've been preparing as usual. playing a lot of games and studying the game. So yeah.
That's great to hear. We're looking forward to it.
Oh, we know he's been preparing. We know he's been preparing. He's been he's been ready for this moment here. This is insane. I'm so in. But you know what? If he came out to the stage with the wig and all, I'd be totally down. I'm just saying. Do it,
I think the worst part is, like, in the whole interview, I still can't tell if he's, like,
he's got that smirk, man.
Yeah, he's just so... No, I can't tell.
I was fully convinced up until that point, up until that interview. I just don't believe it anymore.
Wait, which thing?
I thought he's going to be doing this.
He put on the outfit.
I know, man, but this is some Kendrick, like, 200 IQ type stuff, man. I don't know. He's thinking way ahead.
It's going to drop, like, right away. And then drop again. I don't know. This is wild stuff here. All right, well, look, it's no surprise that Loud has had a bumpy 2024. And the thing is, though, you know, to get a little serious for a moment here, right? Sadak has talked about those struggles, right? He has mentioned how they haven't really found the solutions to win. And that is a glaring thing to hear from Wyatt, a guy who won a world championship just a few short years ago.
I think a lot of what he was saying during this downtime after failing to qualify for Shanghai is very admirable of a leader, honestly. He was taking a ton of accountability for what went wrong with his team, and even outside of his own performance, taking accountability for where other players may have struggled. It was very humble and honest from him, and I also think that with having some downtime now, I am expecting some big things from Loud, honestly, to really have turned the corner.
Yeah. I think for me, like what he just said in that interview, he's thinking about champs. This is a team that's always thought about champs. So talking about like what he did in the downtime, talking about QCK and how he thinks he failed him and all that, it kind of is weighing heavy, man. They're 2-3 right now. This is going to be real tough.
I mean, when it comes to a team like this, there are so many factors that go into winning. It's literally not just performance. It goes into the mental. It goes into how each player comes into practice every single day. And I feel like, to a certain extent, I just have this pressure of if they lose, it's kind of on them. They feel like it's their fault. But then when you have issues that are beyond the calling, beyond the team, beyond the performance, like what do you do? And I totally understand that, and I feel like that's what Loud is going through right now.
Yeah, and they're going through quite a bit. I mean, we look at the standings here, 2-3 total for their run, and this is going to be difficult for them, right? Like they need to have a near immaculate run. And now with Furia playing the way that they're playing currently, that also kind of potentially throws a spanner into the mix as well, Wyatt. Like, there are a lot of question marks for Loud of whether or not they can make it to playoffs.
They picked up a couple good wins at the end of last season. They had beat Sentinels, and then they beat G2 in the last game, which is where they actually ruined EG's chances of making it into the playoffs. So maybe a bit of revenge for EG here.
Yeah.
But they did peak a little bit. It was just in the playoffs they got destroyed by 100 Thieves, and that's where then the reset button had to be hit. But they did well enough that they definitely have a shot.
Yeah, they have a shot.
I think always the middle of the season for Loud, they start to struggle. All the way back to when Pankata was on this team at Copenhagen, they bomb out in groups. Then here last year at Tokyo, they bomb out after 2 rounds. And here again, they had this struggle in split one. But they always come back, and they always make champs, and they always want to run there. So I never doubt Loud is all I got to say.
That's very true. I couldn't agree more with that. But let's go ahead, though, and shift focus to their opponents on the other side of the stage. You got Evil Geniuses, and Potter's returning with the same crew that she had in Stage 1. And this is a team that, they are finding themselves, an organization that is finding themselves in very similar positions of what had happened previously. I guess the question that's on my mind is, and on the mind of a lot of people, is whether or not EG can find success again. Can lightning strike twice the way that it did in 2023? That's the question.
Yeah, I feel like when I watch EG, I'm just such a big fan of rosters that stay together and try to push past these problems that they're having. Whereas for me, I don't feel like EG has big glaring issues. I feel like it's mainly these small little mistakes they're making in their fundamentals, in their communication round by round that they really need to clean up, because they have the firepower, they have the ability, they have seasoned veterans that have played before in all these situations. So for me, I have faith in EG, but I just need to see them kind of push past whatever obstacle it is that's holding them back.
And you're seeing a very, interesting statistic here, right? EG, a slow start team is what you're talking about. Loud in the middle of the season. Well, EG struggles with that at the beginning of the season, and then they start to find that success. And I think to what your point is there, Athena, like them sticking together, them working through these things could very well be that recipe for success for this team.
And we even heard in the interview that they're cooking stuff up. Like we've heard that they're being like one of the newest, most creative teams. So maybe they finally found the answer to whatever it is.
Yeah, no, that excites me because they were peaking at the end of the season. So it was a bit disappointing that we didn't get to see them in playoffs after beating Sen, beating NRG. But all right, they get this time off. So not only were they reaching that peak, but then they had the opportunity to practice with these new buffed duelists, play maybe more of the deadlock, which is coming more in the meta, play Haven, whereas these other teams that went to Shanghai didn't have the chance. They have a real opportunity to like hit the ground running and have a really strong stage.
Yeah, couldn't agree more there. But let's go ahead and hear from Coach Potter. We got Smick standing by.
Morning, Potter. Great to speak with you. Obviously, there was a patch recently. A lot of big changes with duelists. A lot of people are thinking EG is cooking. What can you share about that?
Well, I mean, I think Valorant is in the most exciting state that it's been in the last at least 2 years or so. I think a lot of personality is going to be coming out with these new duelist changes. So with that being said, it's time. Derek's been asking for it with Reyna. We've been cooking in the lab. So you guys stay tuned. We'll see.
All right, well, we're about to find out. Thank you so much, Potter.
And the mystery continues. We'll find out what happens in just a few short moments there. But EG, of course, missing out on Stage 1 playoffs. And, you got to kind of look back on it. We were talking real high about what EG was accomplishing toward the end of that stage. One has to wonder, if EG had that opportunity for playoffs, I mean, could they have been the team that was going on the run? Maybe not G2, maybe not 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I mean, comparatively to those two teams, I think those two teams peaked very, very well. I do think EG could have done the same sort of thing, though. I'm not sure if I would say at the same level, maybe at the same highest potential, but I think they had an opportunity to make a run for Shanghai if Loud didn't put them down at that point. Because at the end of the season, those wins that you're talking about, Sentinels, NRG, they looked phenomenal. I mean, you saw some of those rounds a couple moments ago with Giacomo. The guy was playing out of his mind. And now I think they have the opportunity with the meta change and all that to ride that momentum and ride it even further to much more improvement with this roster.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there is certainly going to be a lot of questions that will be answered in just a few short minutes here. But here are the predictions and how things went down. We got a split field here. Looking at it, we got Wyatt and Athena for Loud and Bala and I for EG. Little split desk here. Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I don't doubt Loud.
Yeah, me
personally. me personally would not doubt.
You know what's funny? I had Loud as my dark horse team, yet I predicted against them. I have no consistency whatsoever, man. Absolute
I would
joke.
say EG's a dark horse team, though, too.
It was either or for me.
Split one, for Loud in the position that they are, okay, fine, you could say that. But EG, they could go on a hot streak. That's what I'm saying.
What makes this match really exciting is that you have two teams that really need these wins. They're desperate for these dubs. So this matchup is going to be absolutely pivotal. But
big opportunity with 100 Thieves losing today, too.
That's right. That is right. So let's go ahead and send it down to the stage and see our two teams make their way to the stage.
Riot Games Arena, chegou a hora do segundo jogo do dia e eles estão chegando para uma estreia eletrizante. Faz barulho pra Loud!
And now, give it up for Loud's opponents. It's Evil Geniuses!
It's a matchup where both teams are in a very interesting position because neither can afford to lose and both need to get these dubs. Playoffs is just around the corner, even though this stage just started. It's only a few short weeks. So for Evil Geniuses and Loud, this matchup could mean everything.
Yeah, and I think for both teams, they feel like they have a chance right now. These teams have played each other once before at kickoff, and it was a very, very close affair. And so now as well, when you're thinking about what happened for EG at the end of the last stage, where they had a chance with those 2 wins to make it in, and Loud snuffs it away from them with that G2 win, it's everything for EG to actually come out and beat these guys.
You're talking about that game back at kickoff. That's when Loud were doing all that crazy Breach Phoenix stuff
all the
on
flashes.
every map for the entire first part of the year. And it just had such a short shelf life that as soon as it expired, we were already into stage 1, and they just never had time to adjust to anything else. They were so slow to get back into that upper tier of the teams until it was too late in the season. And I can't think of a team outside of maybe Sen that could have benefited as much from this downtime as Loud.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Loud is certainly going to need to put some work in here. And here's the series layout. You got Lotus, Sunset, and Icebox if necessary. Loud going with that Lotus, and then EG picking the Sunset here. What do you guys think of the series layout?
Ooh, I think someone's cooked on
we're thinking
Lotus.
the same thing. Yeah.
Say it.
Oh, Deadlock, Sodhawk, Deadlock. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
also thinking, the exact same thing. Basically what we saw from Sen yesterday, John.
Oh, okay. So you think we're going to see some Deadlock in action here? And but wait a minute. Isn't he supposed to be the duelist? Sodhawk?
Yeah, you guys are trolling.
You guys.
All right, well, Les is going to play it then. Yeah, someone's playing Deadlock.
Someone's playing Deadlock.
We better not see, like, after all of this hype, if we just see Raze, Fade, all over the 6, I'm gonna be so sad. I'm going home.
To bring it back, because I don't know what these two teams are going to play, but I do think that EG is still the underdogs in this matchup. I still think that based on the roster that they have, you guys saw it?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go!
He's actually doing it.
He's doing it.
This is madness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Theo Sadok's about to go crazy.
I mean, I'm so excited for this.
I actually think the Neon is going to go crazy on Sadok, because I feel like Sadok is one of those people that are super creative with his util.
You guys,
I feel like going.
There it is.
You're going to be excited for EG's comp too. I'm guaranteeing an ISO from Jogamo or something like that for sure.
I don't know.
That guy is built to play.
He really is. I mean, even though I love Jogamo is also impactful on those movement agents as well, so there could be opportunities.
He's been the guy that's been flexing to all sorts of things. He was played the Deadlock on that. Yeah! Let's go!
Oh my! That boy Jog got surprises. Same thing for Loud. Wow. This is exciting. I'm pumped for this game. You know what? Let's hit it all 3. Give me OT each and every map. I don't give a crap. Let's do this, baby. Riot Games Arena, make some noise as we get ready for our next matchup. You got these 2 guys on the call. They're genetic freaks. It's Brennan Sideshow.
Let's get to it then. Yeah, this is a match that is sure to be delivering, man, on every single capacity. You just look at these comps, you look at the ages being played on either side of the stage. You got Sadok on Duelist, Pancada's back on the stage, finally playing in a team again.
2E's Initiator for the first time.
Yep, 2E's Initiator. You got Jorgamo, the Dorgamo himself playing ISO as well. I mean, you got a lot to look forward to.
I've had to pull up Sadok's tracker stats to look at what he's been doing on Neon. He's been winning 70% of the time in Radiant playing Neon.
Okay.
What is going on out there?
Casting with the least arranged VLR fan.
Yeah. 75% cast as well. I'm scrolling through all these tracker stats.
Yeah, man. You really are. I mean, it's sure to deliver. He's definitely been putting in work.
I'm excited for it. I mean, we've seen him play some duelists before, but it's always been the secondary. To me, it makes very little sense because Tui's used to play Neon, and he hasn't played Initiator before. And Loud are going to take A-Rebel control right off the rip. And Sadak, are you going to slide into this trip?
It's a brave angle by A-Bot. Right now, it's going to be swarmed, overwhelmed surely by the util, but he gets out scot-free. Pancada going for the squeeze, along with Kawazine.
It's nice. It's a pistol round that's a little bit similar to what we saw coming out yesterday when NRG were pushing out Mound and B, but this time it's A and B. So just mixing things up. EG smartly going to take some spawn control and attempt to flip the map.
There.
Jorg would love to start some kind of snowball popping with ISO, but he's not going to be given any chances at shots from his position.
Yeah, no player's going to be walking or wading right into him. Instead, it's just full mount control jump spot from Derek. Seeing a few players at least knowing that one, but the shot's going through anyway. Damage being done. Major disadvantage right now. EG need a miracle and need a few kills to go their way. In which direction will the round end? Currently filling up the feed with a bit of red still. Everybody will topple in the end. So Loud up for the initial round here on the pistol.
And there's just so much to choose from that you could talk about in this map. We literally couldn't get through it all, I think, if we tried.
Really couldn't.
But if you're just looking at towards Loud, Les has been playing Viper for almost all of the year. He's barely dipped his toes into anything else. And we're seeing him back on the Cypher role, which he's played tons of in the past as well. But the fact that we're seeing Tui's then transition over to Initiator, I've got my eyes on him. He used to be a duelist. Most people were expecting him to be picking up the duelist until recently Sadak announced that he was going to be running it down on Perma Neon. And listen, if you're talking about Neon maps, Lotus and Sunset, you don't get much better than that for the first two in this series.
And they've been proven even before the buffs.
Absolutely.
Can definitely play that particular agent.
And there's just so many opportunities. And I think good spots as well for Sadak to be the one that entries for the team and makes space for them in a selfless manner.
Yeah.
And then you've got such excellent people to follow up. That's where Pancada and Les thrived in the past.
Ooh, a bit of a strange fight occurring, but cleaned up by Pancada.
Yeah, and there you go. Same kind of thing. Yeah. Sadak doesn't need the kill necessarily. It just needs to set up these other players on the team who've got good supportive ideas.
Kawazine going to seek to push back this offense out towards the side. Shots going a little bit crazy. Buck wild here from the EG players, but landing directly the targets they wanted. Now Plant stuck by Derek, committed all the way. Getting themselves into the post, but the flash is good.
That should be
paranoia. Derek's isolated, so very little in terms of the chances available to him. They eventually do take him out. So second round there, 3 players surviving of Loud, and you know, talking about the wider stakes as well. You can hone in on players all you want, but you know, both of these teams are 2 and 3 so far over the course of our season.
That's
right
not
now,
great.
this year, it's not great. This match right now is a real turning point for both of these teams. It's almost fitting that they're both sitting exactly in terms of the same, you know, match differential standings overall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the case that both of these squads want more. Both of these organizations have seen the very heights of the game. Both orgs have literally won champions, and yet they find themselves here. Different rosters had to make changes and need this to be the turning point. You're absolutely correct. It's a bonus round for Loud. Do they have something aggressive prepared? You would expect EG to be holding for it, but instead they're walking forward to take a clash at front B.
Yeah, just trying to double up and take this fight already. Shield going to be activated now. A lot of util to slow them down, but barreling forwards and through. Wait, the door's open wide. Stop them in their tracks there. Nice, even exchange. So Loud bring it to that 3 versus 3.
Those are 2 incredibly important kills just to halt that momentum.
Sadak, he's going for a little bit more.
I like that, though. EG cut noise, and Sadak just goes for some information. He's not expecting this re-explore.
Spotting less, though. Superman
Last player standing.
has to take risks in this spot. Derek, last one left. Not favored, though. Facing up into the double face of Loud. 3 in a row now for them.
Bren, there's some sick part of me that really wants Sadak's stats at the end of this to be better than Aspas's, so that we can run some kind of bonkers...
Just you at a head-to-head.
We've entered a dimensional portal kind of head-to-head stat, where we compare the 2 duelists. Look how nice this one is, though. Still very good coordination between these players. It's almost reminiscent of in some sense, like NRG adding back in Finesse and Som, players with a lot of experience with the roster, but not recently. That's somewhat similar to what Loud are up to right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy to see Pancada back playing once more. Shots getting fired and rattled. Across the board, only the pistols in the hand of the EG players, but almost coming out on top of that fight. Still Superman's low. What is this? Getting tricky with it, but he just can't quite land a shot. One would have done it.
Brutal.
2 years being low enough.
Apoth's worked his way all the way through B. Has found a gap that maybe he can exploit on a rifle round. This kind of thing, weirdly enough, Apoth might find more value in the long term by disguising the fact that he walked through B here.
Yeah.
In order to do that, he'd have to kind of walk all the way back through one of the sites.
Yeah, just so that, you know, Loud don't, but Loud don't realize there's a gap in the defensive play, right?
Exactly, exactly. So sometimes it's better not to even try to maximize the value in a 1v3 here. But if he gets a free kill on less, you know, magic could happen.
Slight anticipation, yeah, that he might have been re-swung onto that angle, but no, not happening. So 4 in a row now for Loud. This is a, steady lead. Obviously doing it onto the anti-eco. Now a bit of a buy round for EG.
Sadak with the Neon Operator, round 5, all right. We're seeing it all here today.
One enemy remaining.
Now that to me doesn't make as much sense, Brent, with the way that they want to play. And it seems like he's dropping it, not opting for that.
Yeah, just gone for the rifles.
Yeah, and setting up trips over towards A for Loud to play off, while Les himself anchors with Pancada on the C side.
EG being the team as well, that they're struggling to find a lot of value here, but fault line, undercut, price forward, at least gives them access to front C. Loud ready for a refight though again. Look at the proactivity, off the charts again, the double tap, refresh! Jorgamo! Sky can't be removed, the raid boss, but finally broken and taken out.
Shot in the back, cowardly maneuver. 3v3 though. And they're lacking that initiation ability to get in onto sites without having the raise, without having that ability to burst through. So EG forced to play things a little more slowly unless they can get all of these big entries. Cutting noise, and last time Loud went for a re-explore. This time, same thing, and they punish.
Yeah. That's a fast thrash is going to be used and offloaded just to try and push them back.
Sadak's opening the door.
Aggressive. Sadak opens the door, bit of a distraction play. Okay, overdrive. Popped up, but he can't land anything. It's all gone skew whip into this round here, but a few straight shots maybe might do it. Into the cage. Blind as a bat, really. Pure instinct is what he was operating off of. Still 2 years.
They're so
30
weak.
seconds
Yeah,
left.
in a 1v2, definite chances for him.
There's 33 health. I mean, if they lined up, he could kill them with a single bullet. He's going to have to go through both of these trips.
Spike
So it's going to give Apoth great information about exactly where Tuis is coming from and the timing involved. But a thrash available, and like I said, barely a soft breeze would knock over Nature and Apoth here.
Yeah. Nature and Apoth as well, just biding their time.
Playing as
Nice
far back as you
and slow,
possibly
yeah.
can to avoid thrash.
Full avoidance. Even just holding the util. Nature. He's gone for the major wing cons here. Thrash. It's an instant cancel. Not sure if that's a fake out or a mistake or what, but still a tap onto the spike now. Fault line. Slight delay. Forced out. Apoth getting a bit of a run on and a move on. Of course, they know he can't quite beat on it, so 2 years not quite winnable for him. Time running short.
It is good damage, nevertheless, onto EG. You know, removing a lot of those players. Loud's economy is booming right now. The players are almost max money. Now, just to talk about this for a moment, if you have been playing Valorant in ranked right now, ISOs have been killing you. I'll say that as just a straight up fact. Even if you're playing ISO, you know the terror that is ISO in ranked currently. But at the pro level, there's so much spam into smokes and so much chip damage and good utility. Jorgamo is going to find it a lot more difficult to have those ridiculous snowball rounds. You see, even in that situation where he's able to pick up 2, it's tough for him to get out of that situation and stabilize with his shield.
Yeah.
This time, though, ult online, who do you actually want to get for Loud? Surely you're looking for less.
Yeah, if you get less, takes down the entire Cypher kit, so...
Yeah, but he might kill you. It's less.
He might kill you, that's true, but the shield's active now. Doesn't want to opt for using it, just backing away. Jorgamo, what would you like to do with this? I'm waiting for it, man. I want to see the gulag. Pull somebody into it, the 1v1. Just prime and ready with the undercut. A bit of vulnerability now. Spice things up, and you can see with that damage. Goes up and through now.
The shield's offline at this point.
Yeah, it is. They've waited it out. Now still with complete control. Look at this Sadak just holding onto the position. The cage might make him think twice about it.
But the fact you don't have shield available and you have the ult, so now you've lost the advantage if you want to go for an ult. It seems very weird here, hesitant from EG. They could have forced the fight if they wanted to.
You and me. And Apop's gone down. Cool, like, here we go. Let's go straight into it. A 1v1 is occurring. McCowazin just gets taken out instantly. Almost instantaneously. Superman's already into the fight, and everyone's been ripped to shreds. 2 years. Chance to even it out, maybe. Not quite. Sadak in a 1v3. Plan from Derek.
Spike planted.
No disruption. The post plan is pretty impeccable stuff from EG. Nice little setup.
They still have 2 breach flashes.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they got in without even having to use those, without choosing to use those.
Nature's just going to be taking contact here. It's basically unlosable. If you are the EG players, the horn forces the issue for Sadak. He's definitely anticipating the secondary swing from Derek, but eventually landing those shots straight to the cranium. So, second round out for EG. Maybe starting to string and chain together. Semblance of some rounds. Make it nice and even.
They did have to use big ultimates there, and Jorg being able to get that entry by dragging Kwanzin into the ult. It's pretty good. But they're not going to have access to those in the future. Here it is. Instant shot. And Kwanzin perhaps looking to try to take the fight there a bit more aggro because he knew that that shield wasn't active. He got punished for it. Getting that jump spot, seeing if there's an operator on the other side.
Pretty standard utility being used as well. Again, the full line. Vulnerable. Prowler as well. Heavy committal just to take the C-mount control, but it's a pretty clear game plan. Being cooked up by EG.
Nature 2 away from getting his ult online, but instead the ult going towards Jorgamo. So heavily prioritizing this ISO ult to be able to crack open on the attack side. And that makes sense. You know, you don't have the showstopper to be able to use. So the ISO ult is a really useful addition. Pretty far away this time, though.
Gotta go.
Sadak picked one up last time in this exact spot.
It was Apop. They've made it feel like Apop is the only solo lurker once more, but the jump spot we'll see too. Gives the game away. No reinforcements really. Gonna be fast onto the play, slowing them all down with a couple of stuns. Jorgamo looking to gain some ground, potentially for the pivot, but no, they want to end themselves over towards A side. Sadak still anchoring out towards the back, but he doesn't win his fight out. Util flying forward, just trying to set this one up, and Loud! It's sheer dominance from them. Drawing a line in the sand, and they won't let them press any further into this A side. That is pure domination.
I love how Loud played the defense side there. You noted that there weren't instant rotates. Kwanzin used a Prowler. When they got the confirmation there were 2 players rubble, Kwanzin walked forwards on C, Prowlered mound to know that it was clear, and Sadak actually turns around and walls up to heaven, which allows these players from Loud to dominate the heaven angles, but then also flood into sight if they need to with that cover. That's really nicely played. Good protocols on defense from Loud, making sure that they don't get hit by a fake rubble take and it's actually going towards C, and also having very good ideas of what Sadak wants to do in order to get help on the site. Love how they played that, and EG's economy tumbling as a result. They're close to an ult. Nature would have that one available. A big breach ult could certainly open things up. But they're struggling.
Yeah, they are struggling. They're heading into an eco round as well. I mean, we can see the money situation. Might be able to get a gun or 2 on the EG side, but probably going to be using this round to try and build up some ults.
Yeah, and I think the next big opportunity for EG to start something happening is with that ISO and breach ult. So, you know, Loud should have a bit of a freebie here. I feel like using the word freebie when there's an ISO on the other side that could have a hero rifle, though, it's
you never know.
Difficult.
You never know with Jorgamo, especially. I mean, that guy is capable.
Yeah. But I got to say, though, I am impressed with what we're seeing from Loud right now. There was a lot of confusion in my head about why they were going in this direction rather than putting 2Es on Duelist, as he was in the past. For anyone who's unaware or didn't get to see him while he was playing in Tier 2 before he joined Loud, he was a Duelist player. He used to play Neon, Jet, stuff like that. He wasn't dominating in Brazil, but he was like a good, solid Duelist player, and they crafted him into a more passive smokes player. High-low setup.
Whoa. That's the danger. we were talking about. It was a high-low setup, and Jogamo almost ends up winning it.
Yeah, I mean, Tui's was doing a bit of whiffing, actually. He's at the top of the scoreboard right now, though, so we'll forgive him that one.
Sadak in a
not cleared.
Yeah, not cleared at all.
What? Hello?
Okay, just plays full patient, waits for it. Prime timing here. And yeah, takes his time with it.
No problems. But yeah, I quite like what Loud have ended up going for. Tui's, like I said, generally a bit more passive while he was playing on smokes. But we're seeing him actually find those opportunities to take fights a little more now because he's on Gecko. It's not a super passive initiator. It's more of a dump your utility and then go in and scale with the team and take fights. And I think that's useful for a guy who just wants to get a bit more aggro than he could when he was playing Harbor. Tui's on Harbor was like very towards the back of the pack. Didn't have as much fragging impact, but from what we've seen so far this year, he's certainly capable of it. He was really good to start 2024.
Yeah, it's very proactive. Loud not afraid to try and fight over it. And when EG been taking that C-mount control, you see the doors open wide. Dump a bit of that initiator util.
But this was the round, Brand, that we were talking about, where ults get back online. Jorg's got his, Nature as well. And Les has moved his positioning. Looking to hard anchor the B side. Yeah, they're just hoping that they miss the ISO ult.
Essentially, yeah. Hoping that they just end up pre-firing it. So thinking ahead with the ults they've got.
I like the idea here of Kawanzin just sending a Prowler to make it feel like he's playing on site and then running away.
Backing away,
Yeah, like little shots like this, and then run away.
Backs away.
Yeah, try to bait out this ult.
Makes a lot of sense.
But you're playing on a knife's edge. Obviously, you don't want to get caught.
Might be looking to try and take the fight again. He is right in front of this one with the ult primed and ready. It's what? I thought that was going to be missing. Not quite. Dragged into it once more. Another chance of redemption for Kawanzin. Can't quite win it though. A shield refresh. Straight back into the fight though. Sadak, he wants to try and really trying to gain that advantage for his team. Space gain. That's an ult being used, I think, by 2 years out into the open. He's going to be falling for it. ZG set up nice and tidy. Sadak. IGL himself though. To do something, a bit of spam blindly firing straight into the smoke. The shots are connecting, but this wrap-around flank, not anticipated. APOP, insurance policy. Sadak on 7 HP, he's got a little bit too much to do. Have to be a miracle. It's not going to happen.
So big ults get big results there for Evil Geniuses. Able to catch Kawanzin. You can see what he was doing. He's trying to get in front of those ultimates. But he just gets dragged in, and this time it's even more unfair. Previously, Jorg just straight up won a 1v1 against him, but this time, even a shield in his face. It is a bit weird, though, that Tui's ripped that ult off in the middle of Waterfall.
Yeah, no
cover?
I was second-guessing myself. I didn't know if he was ulting or what, but it looked like he was in the animation for it.
He certainly did use the ult. It's gone.
Strange one. Maybe that uncomfortability, you know? Bit of a roll switch.
But also, from Loud's point of view, you're not really that worried about the rest of the rounds in this half because EG have only won when they've had big ults online.
My ult is ready. Bring them down.
Derek earns his way up. Again, Jogamo. He's not hiding his intent, is he? Shield popped off, going to be hearing that sound cue, but again, this battle of attrition. Superman who wins it.
Through a smoke by the look of things, but may have had a slight angle. Can Sadak punish APOP again?
He's been punishing him consistently. I mean, APOP feeling caught out of position here when he's just trying to lurk and create some of that space. Superman might be popping off for him. Jump spot almost anticipated here by Sadak. He's not giving it up, is he? Wall still. Trades it down for the stun. Has to prop it up, but he can't quite escape. EG might be able to pave their way a path towards the A site. There's a fast flank still occurring. 2 years. Just walking. It's watched for though. Superman is on fire right now.
Very good awareness. I don't think there's anything that Les can do in this spot. They're not even going to bother going into him.
Yeah.
They do lose one on the way out, so, you know, maybe if they just grouped up and overwhelmed him, there wouldn't have been any danger anyway. But they're choosing the safer option. Play that 3v1. Get on site, get the crossfires set up. And quite a nice round. They are punishing these re-pushes for information that Loud are going for in the mid-round.
Adjustment's paying off. Less left to do the most. 1v3. EG's post plan again. It's so many backup policies for them, isn't it? Derek's going to be the one taking that contact. Just jump spotting, backs away now. Nature making sure main is accounted for. As soon as there's a tap onto the spike, or even not, look, shot just lands. Yeah, lovely. One to the cranium. 4 rounds now for EG on their attack side. I've got to say, breath of fresh air, not seeing a raise on the attack side. normally, listen, we'd be talking to death about a showstopper and going for the initiation into the C site with it.
Yeah, the meta is changing. It really is. I would say that Americas is the most resistant region to change.
Yeah.
They like tried and true, tested ideas, refined. And what we've actually seen so far in stage 2 is Clove being played, Neon being played, ISO being played. People are not just adapting to change, but embracing it.
Yeah. Fading like there's a bit of an A fight.
Yeah, I mean, people just like playing Duelist, I think.
Yeah, they do. Gonna switch up there. I mean, A-Pop once more dropping onto the extremity. Norafet popped off here.
You can't afford to give Jorgamo a kill. ISO's already snowballing, but he's also 1 away from the ultimate. So if Jorg gets something, without the shield, admittedly.
Wall up. Any damage coming their way. Gives them access to it. Sadak, what is that, man? It's flying forward. Jorgamo with a kill earned. It's not online, but does he really want to try and use it? Well, he could just win the round for them if he knows where Les's position is. Isolate a 1v1. Superman could just run up straight onto the body, but they don't believe they know where he is. TP is for information. Superman cancels. They don't quite spot him. Les just has to sneak around this one. Avoid all of it, but he all catches it. And I don't know. The deal is up entirely. If Jorgamo even ended up losing it, it's an instant win.
Great round. Love the way they play it. Clearly thinking about those win conditions.
Yeah.
And also, again, Loud choosing the more aggressive of a few options. After Les gets this kill, there are players.
No distraction.
And they just kind of send it there into tree.
Yeah.
Choosing to try to take the fight to Evil Geniuses.
Let's go, bro. Let's go, man. This game is fucking broken.
Jorgamo is picking up the operator. Looking to try to take a fight. There's 4 players. Paranoia in his face and Sadak running him down.
Can't do anything though. So the weapon's going away. Doesn't want to give anything to the opposition. Tucked into the corner for a rainy day. Full A control over the rubble. That's for Loud. They're doubled up.
Look at this trip. This trip is so nice as well against what Neon teams will often do, which is to aggressively slide onto the A lobby player. Apoth just defending himself and stopping from flanks from coming through with this setup.
Not much really changing in terms of the game plan for EG.
No, but for Loud, the slower these rounds go from Evil Geniuses, the more Loud have been incentivized to go for some kind of aggressive option for either map control or more often information. So if EG call a bit of a pump fake here, I think they might bait Loud into peeking again.
Might even commit for it. Shield actually helps out Jorgamo there, really winning that fight. Even with the refresh on top of it, spraying it through. A little bit labored and messy, doesn't quite win it. It's all over the place. B access for EG. Onto that site.
30 seconds left.
Good cancel there, because that almost certainly would have been a mistake to run back into Pancada unless 2E's has a lot to do.
Certainly does. Does he want to choose and take the timing? He does right as the cam's being pulled out. Fortunate with it, but it's traded. Pancada and Les. Up to them now. So they can turn around the fortunes of this round. Smoke popped up, a few bullets firing. All it takes is the one to bring down Pancada. The secondary player there, Superman, just the slightest of off angles. So a 6-6 finish.
What a recovery.
Overall, great recovery from EG, have to say. But in terms of the way these comps play out, really up in the air, I think, in terms of it. You know, throwing my expectations out of the window. From what we're used to seeing on Lotus, it could still be anyone's game.
Yeah, for sure. I think Loud's composition will be very happy on the attack side, and Jorgamo might find it a little more difficult to pick those good timings to take fights, pop the shield, that kind of stuff on the defense. So this is still absolutely anybody's game, but none of that changes the fact that 4 in a row was excellent for EG to close out the half.
Well, earlier we spoke with Pancada about how he found his way back all the way home to the Loud roster. Let's check this one out.
Os rumores sobre a Fúria foram verdade. Tive a negociação que estavam até avançadas, mas eu tive alguns problemas pessoais, problemas de saúde, que acabou que não encaixaram no time e acabou que deu isso. A Loud apareceu e agora sou Loud. Cara, voltar pra Loud agora Foi uma decisão até que difícil, né? Eu tava passando por alguns problemas pessoais, mas acabou que as coisas se encaixaram, a gente teve um time muito bom. E sem dúvidas os meninos ainda são o melhor time do Brasil, então poder estar representando o Brasil no alto nível e com os melhores, com certeza pesou bastante na decisão.
I'm happy for Mancada, that he's found his way back onto, the roster, the Loud boys, like you said. He thinks they're some of the best Brazilian players, best Brazilian team in the scene itself. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of wasted on the bench, right? It's a difficult decision, I think, for a lot of pro players where you sit on the bench, you're getting paid still, you have a bit of security in that aspect, but you're not playing. Yeah. You're not getting that game time, and you can fade into irrelevancy pretty quickly in esports. It's a short lifespan.
Yeah,
overall.
We have actually seen some great players of prior years wither away when they're in that kind of situation. And, hopefully that doesn't happen to people like Demon1 who are currently in that situation right now, but it is great to see one of the former greats returning to his home territory. And honestly, I don't think Furia, with their win right now over 100 Thieves, are going to be too bothered that they didn't end up with Pancada, because they're looking like they have been revitalized. So perhaps the rejuvenation of the Brazilian scene is here in Stage 2. But I don't want to speak too early, because we are very, very early days in Stage 2 here. Happy early birthday, Jogama. I mean, you could say that to somebody at any point through the year.
That's true, yeah. It would be an early birthday wish. I mean, it must be running up soon any time.
I would assume so, but I have no idea when it is. I don't know those levels of trivia about every player. The brain it's not capable of packing that much
Not scouring a Wikipedia page.
No.
You're on the tracker, though.
I'm on the tracker, GG, but I'm not on the Wikipedia for birthdays. That's absolutely true.
We're getting back into this now. Expectations for the pistol round. Again, like I said, kind of up in the air from what we'd usually expect of Lotus being played with the comp switch-ups and how both of them are really going to be performing. EG with a heavy emphasis, looks like, on fighting over this A control. Nature was in position to maybe let loose an early stun.
Yeah, it's all kind of fake pressure, though.
It is.
They're making it feel like it's an A fight. And in fact, this is headed towards Nature.
This is the Prowler. All combined up. Free access. Plant out into the open here with a wingman. And a heavy fight to be taken. Look at this, straight ahead. Ball of the util, but again, it's the bullets rattled away. And who's going to be the winner in this engagement? Even still with a shield. Dismissed and removed. Jorgamo sits on the sidelines now and leaves it to Superman. It's a 1v3. Damage under Kawazine, but he's got so much more to do. He's got to remove a few of these players. Right clicks! Putting in that work, but only 18 health and less. He's quick on it.
It's ridiculous to see how some of these incredible aimers that we have in Americas are dealing with the ISOs, just double tapping headshots straight into them.
Yeah.
I was amazed watching Aspas do it, and so it seems kind of fitting that we're now watching Loud dismantle Jorgamo in some of these spots too. It does feel difficult for Jorg to be able to take all of the advantages of ISO and actually convert them into this momentum that, as we all know, is possible. We've seen it in ranked, but it looks a lot more difficult in pro play, as you would expect, of course. But that's a great pistol for Loud to be able to pick up. And here Jorg trying to make something happen again.
Just the one shot.
And he's been alone the last 2 rounds defending on C. I assume this won't always be the defensive setup. Usually APOP is going to be playing around there in their prior comp. But having said that, Jorgamo's vulnerable could be pretty fantastic for defending C.
Yeah.
You've got 2 of those. Anytime they try to engage, they're going to be taking massive amounts of damage from that.
Bring them down.
You saw it on the first half as well. I mean, EG were using it as part of that conditioning to take C mount. Like a fault line, a bit of the vulnerable, throwing it out.
Yeah, it's very powerful on defense, but the trade-off in some sense is that it's more difficult to find your shield timings, especially if Loud are going to play slowly and contacty.
Yeah. Jorgamo in the danger zone here. And yeah, there's really no chances there for him. Just needed to hit the initial one.
Yeah. And of course, doesn't have the vulnerable in this round, but, just thinking towards the future. If Jorg's got a rifle in that spot and some of the... cover going out. Some more abilities to be able to work with, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult for Loud to get through that choke point.
Gives us a bit of breathing room in this round here where it looks like Loud are just... I mean, it's essentially sealed up. EG just aiming to go down to the spike.
Spike's pretty far away, to be honest with you. I think Loud are going to be able to catch to going for it.
Yeah, want to farm up a couple of these eco kills too.
Get him into
these players.
Certainly get him into 2Es would be fantastic as well.
Yeah, either way. Whichever ult is going to be closest.
Enemy remaining.
Calzine is doing the hunting. Will Apoff even go down? Hello, Apoff. Apoff.
He's got it.
Ah, what a blunder! Oh boy. Oh boy.
2,700 credits.
That hurts.
Heading into the anti-bonus round. It's a good job they've drawn up that judge setup.
I think that's the fastest judge purchase I've ever seen.
Yeah. Potter's like, oh, I knew I built that judge setup for a reason.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Appropriate reactions, man. Appropriate reactions. Okay. Into the thick of things. That's a fast punish.
Sadak keeps using weapons that just ruin Jorgamo's shield as well. Whenever Sadak pops his ultimate, that's incredibly good against the ISO shield. Huge amounts of like fast ticks of damage. Stingers being used out there as well. Just ways of melting through and not giving clean, honorable Vandal versus Vandal duels.
Loud feel like they've gotten an easy figure out. I think towards the defensive setup of EG now with that punish on the Jorgamo.
Yeah, and now Apoth has to retake with a judge. I mean, this is chalked already.
Let's go on walkabouts. Fox in the pen, Sadak seeking to keep them penned into place and position just for less with the cleanup. 2 years perched up as well into this high ground angle.
Remaining.
Spotting the jump through from Apoth. Yeah, it's
sad. It's sad to watch, honestly, there. Apoth doesn't want to keep the gun, so he's just leaping through. Hoping desperately that somebody's right in front of him. That one was a freebie.
Yeah, we really did miss the beginning of that one, but I'm curious how the punish even went off. I saw Sadak didn't have a stun at the beginning.
Yeah,
I got to imagine it was utilized in some way. We might see it in the replay now.
I mean, part of the problem with playing against the Neon is that normal peaks that you would take at the beginning of the round are just going to get punished by the pace that Sadak can play at.
Exactly.
The stun catches there onto... It doesn't look like Jorgamo's mad out of position. Just jiggle in the corner, looking for a bit of info, maybe a cheeky kill at the very start. That's pretty standard. Yeah, it's just allowed to have a good setup and the pace to be able to punish. And unfortunately, these last few rounds, the pistol into the bonus, and especially the little blunder from Apoth, may have, well, I suppose, to be honest with you, they weren't winning that round even if Apoth had a Vandal, so it's unfair, I suppose, to put all of the blame in his department, but these last couple of rounds slide in the way of Loud.
Little mistakes, they're just adding up.
Yeah, they've set themselves up with a fantastic chance of taking a dead even first half and slamming it home.
Bit of that conditioning. Pancada just going to be holding on to that A-rubble.
Bring them down.
Prowler to feign like they might be pressuring forwards into B. Spike is nowhere near to being, committed in any position here. Calzine even has the ult as well. Big stack though, these EG players. There's some danger here, but the slow play just working out in Loud's favor. Everybody going for these risky maneuvers on EG's side for any sort of win that they can get.
And I like this. They've kept Pancada up towards Rubble the whole time as well, giving them another option in the round. They get the info, it was a B push, there's only going to be one person here.
Door, a ball! Hold on, that's fancy.
Spike down A.
Just running at him with the Bucky.
30 seconds left.
Retrieve the spike.
End of the day,
avenues
though,
are, covered.
It's just going to be a rifle advantage, I think. Unless Pancada gets timing here, but surely not. Lets his ultimate as well. Gives all of the information, and Loud pick up the anti-eco. Get themselves up to a pretty big advantage here. We've got to see a round from EG if they have a hope of winning this map. It's Loud's map pick, of course. But you're looking for a little more on this half. It's just been too easy, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
Loud have not been challenged. This might have been one of the more close rounds. On a tactical timeout as well.
Timeout for EG. I think it's necessary.
I don't think it bodes well, though, particularly because if you're taking the tac timeout now rather than the round before, I think that indicates that Potter perhaps wasn't confident in the adjustments that EG were about to make heading into the rifle round. But, now she gets her opportunity to influence the state of play. And Potter's usually got some really good stuff to throw at the team.
Yeah, the reads are usually on point, right? In terms of wondering what to correct.
I think it's tough, though. I think their setup at the moment, it's not like Loud are going for a ton of fast hits and just walking into trips.
Yeah, that's true.
They're slowing stuff down, and EG's composition doesn't have the most info in the world. You've just got Derek to kind of play around.
I mean, I think they could set up a bit of a bait and switch, maybe with Jorgamo on C. Jump spot, see if they can punish, try and go for a bit of, you know.
I think they're very worried about jump spotting on C. Jump spotting on C is what got Jorgamo killed
for sure, yeah.
On the anti-bonus round.
I think Loud has spotted that, and I think that's what they've been using to get a lot of these round wins, but they have moved it over. I mean, 4 players essentially committed. Nature just in the connector is going to be able to send a fault line nice and early. So yeah, it's a vulnerable to Prowler. It's all being committed. A heavy util dump along with a bullet spam. So big indicator that EG are fighting heavily for that A control. And Loud just made a call now to go for a hard hit straight into the B side, knowing that it's going to be potentially weaker. Going for the plan instantaneously. Angles are covered. Vulnerable up. Hello, that's a very committed Thrash. Fault line there, sending it flying. No detainment though. Kawazine blinded up. And a raw bullet spam once more, doing the dirty work. That's going to be the Nightfall. Forwards now, a bit of decay damage kicking in. With the decay, Jorgamo, oh, resetting. Double tap in action. And a lot of damage done to Sadak. He's forced to back away, cowering at the side of him. Jorgamo stepping up to the challenge and more. They've overwhelmed this site now with that retake. Unless nowhere near to try and contest that one with the full defuse.
Jorgamo's been trying to get a round like that happening the entire game. He took over on the retake, chaining those together, one after another, to tear his way through Loud. I like the call from Loud as well there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. That's cool. Punishing the player that was fighting over Blue Room. But yeah, coming out of the attack timeout, going for an instant B hit when you've normally been running slow rounds, change your tempo, throw them off their game. Love the call from Sadak there. But EG able to pull off a really nice retake, and now they have big ults, 4-player stack on A again. And we get to see Loud without pulling something fast out of the strat book. How does the slow play work against Potter's adjustment?
I do like this though from EG. You throw out the vulnerable, it's going to be called by less. They're going to expect that there's going to be a lot of players, but it's an instant rotation, so... it's a lot of noise being made. Jorgamo just peeks off of it. Teammate jumping and hopping around the corner and dropping like flies. That's a Loud players right now, leaving it just to the 3 of them. They have that mound control, but they don't have the spike. Slowing it down, just seeing if they can walk into one of these angles. Maybe get a free kill or two. Kawazine?
What?
Yeah, what is that?
You should never be able to pull that off. You've got bullet tack coming through the corner. The Odin should be favored. Sadak's walled his way in.
There's no way.
Apoth doesn't even really know that he's in.
No way.
He knows there's a chance, but he doesn't know for sure.
It's all about the game. The timings and the head spot's over. Setups dismantled now. Full access to the back of the C site. Jorgamo revealed. How much more eager do you want to get, Sadak? That's the question. Nightfall. No tags, negative information. A lot to work off, though, if you are Sadak. You can back away. That's an ult. Committed into the gulag. Nature off onto the flank as well as 1v1 is vitally important. And Jorgamo ends up losing it still.
Revenge for
down, out into the open. Finally, he wins one. And he knows what the last 2 players are. He's got to push them back, him and Sadak. Sadak's going to be holding this cross. The position is good from these Loud players. Fault line. No stun there, but it is finally for Sadak. Slow to a crawl. Superman couldn't run anywhere. Nature in a 1v2. What a turnaround this has been in this round for Loud. Not willing to give anything up. The high-low setup. Full patience, full discipline. Waiting for him to walk right into the sight line. So, up to 11. And like I was saying, man, nasty turnaround from Loud.
Yeah, really well done. That was a 3v5 that Sadak basically wins. I'm not going to say on his own because Kawanzin's pick on B was also bonkers. That is so good.
Yeah.
It looks like from his POV, it barely got slowed by the Odin bullets as well. But Sadak walls in on C, dodges all of the spam, walks into a spot where Apoth is not totally sure that the new duelist of Loud has infiltrated the setup. And Sadak picks him off, top fragging for Loud, 19 kills in 18 rounds.
Bit of a brawl, feigning like it could be that heavy fight and sets up. Sadak doesn't win it. Not with the shield activated. What is the call now for a fast pivot? All the way away, over towards the C site, onto Mound. And nobody's playing here.
They have to respect the fact that Apoth could be here. Right? They know that there's a big setup on the other side. In fact, I think they know that all 4 players were over towards A. Now Loud looking to slow the pace down a little bit, though. They realize they don't want to hit into that Cypher setup. Can they hold off EG's lower weaponry? EG are going to want to force the fight.
Just trying to take a time in over the trip.
No map control for the attackers.
It's all over the place. Nature, it's a flash and a peek. Watching for all the EG players, though. That is wallbangable, I believe. So, yeah, Nature's not going to be long for this world. And Superman isolated. Up to 12, Loud. One more round will do it.
Match point.
I don't want to go too hot with this take, but Pancada looks quite good when he's playing smokes.
It does. Yeah, yeah.
Does appear to be a smokes player rather than a sentinel player. Don't know whether anyone ever told sentinel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 12-7 though, the score. Loud doing a great job of pivoting in these spots.
Another hard committal. This round could really just end almost instantaneously. It's on a nice edge. All the eggs in one basket here for EG. With this committal, it's Superman. Head ripped straight off the shoulders. Door opened up, shield still active for Jorgamo, but nobody's giving him that easy fight he was perhaps hoping for. Opened up again, they can hear the sprinting and the dodging, moving around, taking a timing. What is that reset from Jorgamo? Still traded.
Look how quick there the spam is to counter and break the shield.
Everybody falling onto EG. 2v4, just to stay into the map.
Shadows traveling.
It's been a masterful showcase by Loud, I think, with this composition.
It really has. The way that they've adjusted the tempo, playing some quick rounds, comfortable, finding avenues, lurking, pivoting around the map, playing slowly, baiting out plays. Remember, this was a 6-6 half, and since then, EG have been held to only 1 round on their defense. And it's not looking like the scoreline's going to get any better in their favor. Loud's map pick a Lotus, soon to be wrapped up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the util they've got alone should be ending this one. If whole line actually does save the day there for Apop. Stunned up in position. Not enough, though, for him to gain that second kill. And Sanek just toying with his food, man. Skipping, hopping all over the bloody place. Thrash below him. He's just trying to isolate one of them, but he can't do it. 13-7 will be that scoreline. Loud walk away with Lotus.
All the classics back for Loud, but in the most bizarre of ways. Less unkillable, looking absolutely bonkers. The KD was 20-9 for Less. Still the star fragger for Loud, but it's Sadak, I think, that drew the spotlight for me. Also had 20 kills, 300 ACS, running in, finding openings, calling really beautifully on the attack side too.
Oh, yeah.
Showcasing that he's got the ability to do it all. I mean, it's the reason why he's winning 70% of his games in Radiant, I guess.
Real masterful showcase from Loud, man. And steadily impressed with this team as well. I mean, and this is a match that is a turning point. We mentioned at the beginning for both of these teams 2-3, but we're going to be stepping away. GB and the Analyst Desk breaking it all down for map number 1. Don't go anywhere, you know, you don't want to miss it.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.